What is up, JL Life? Modo here. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a review on the Milestar Patagonia. Stay tuned. So one of the things I've been accused of is I run Patagonias because they were free. They weren't. So this review is going to be honest. So I have about 10,000 miles on these. I've been rotating them every 3,000, so I've rotated them by that math 3 times. I want to talk about some of the benefits that stick out for these. One, they're light. I got a size 38 by 13.5 tire, and it weighs, I believe it was 105 pounds with the whole combo, which is pretty damn light for a 38-inch tire. The next benefit of these is they're actually relatively quiet on the road. Though tire noise wouldn't really bother me, there's some people out there who like quiet tires. Another pro of these is the first 1,000 miles, they performed amazing off-road. One of the benefits of these tires is they're cheap. One of the disadvantages of these tires, they're cheap. So you might be sitting there wondering, well, why is that a positive and a negative? Well, it's a positive because I got on 38-inch tires for $1,250. Typically getting onto a tire that size is going to cost you around $2,000, significantly cheaper. Well, the disadvantage of cheap tires, you get what you pay for. So the disadvantages of the cheap side, well, one, it was an absolute pain in the ass to balance. Nobody could balance them correctly. I ended up going with balancing beads. The balancing beads, they smooth out the ride, but the guys who installed my balancing beads screwed that up and they threw the whole bag in there, and well, it's very difficult to air down my tires now because I'm getting plastic chunks into my valve stems. Thanks, Firestone. Wow, that one. This was what was in my tire. This is the outer bag, which is not designed to disintegrate, which led to all of this residue inside of my tire. And bits of this were getting stuck in my valve stem, which is why my tires wouldn't air down correctly. Had nothing to do with the beads. So if you look inside of Missy's tires, all tires that she had the balancing beads in, there's none of that black residue. You can even look at some of the balancing beads. Of course, they're not all covered white. You would think a tire shop knows how to install balancing beads. Well, apparently not. As I was mentioning, these tires performed amazing the first 1,000 miles, and they impressed me a lot. After that, like I said, the performance started to go downhill, and I've been noticing more and more and more. I'm doing a lot more crab walking. I'm struggling a lot harder to get up obstacles, and I'm having to send it a hell of a lot more to get up what I once was able to get up relatively easily.
This is valid.
Now, I've been told that the sweet spot for these tires is 8 PSI. Well, I don't have bead locks, and one of the advantages of having such a light tire was I wanted to keep it as light as possible. Bead locks just wasn't something I want for my build at the moment. So I would go down to 10 PSI. And what I'm told is those 2 PSI make a big difference. I can't say one way or the other. 10 PSI is what I've been running. I've had these for about 10,000 miles. And I am at almost 30 seconds. When I got these tires, they were at 19. So from here to 12. So real quick, let's do some math. Started at 19. I'm at 11, 12, so we'll round up. The difference between that is going to be 7. So I've lost 30 seconds of tread within the first 10,000 miles. So when you start getting to 30 seconds, that's when you should look to replace. When you get to 30 seconds, that's time to replace. Put in my current tread depth, let's minus another 7. It's going to put me at 5. That's definitely time to start replacing. Doing the type of things I do in my Jeep, the rock crawling, the sharp rocks, you definitely don't want to start doing that type of stuff with tread depth that low. That's a lot of protection off of your tires, and you're risking popping a tire at that point just with the amount of stress that you are putting on the tires. This is definitely one of my biggest complaints. Mud terrains really should be lasting about 50,000 miles. Now, I understand these tires are cheap, and so you're basically paying for a cheaper tire, but you're going to have to replace it more often. So is it really cheaper? As far as handling on-road, I never had an issue losing traction in the snow, the rain, the dirt, or the mud. On-road. Off-road, as I said, I'm struggling a lot more getting up things. I still get up it. It's just requiring a lot more sand. Another complaint I hear about these tires is they're ugly.
True.
Find a better reason. Another complaint I had about these tires when I first got them, holy they were really stiff. I went driving down the road, got them mounted, and I was bouncing around like I didn't even have shocks on the Jeep. It was really bad. What I had to do to soften them up, I aired them down to 5 PSI, and I went crawling around the neighborhood for half an hour to kind of soften the tread up. It seemed to have helped, but it was really fucking stiff.
I had the same issue. On pinball's leaf sprung in the rear, and it was still really, really stiff with the first mounted.
It's not something that couldn't get past it. It's just something to expect. Another complaint I hear about these tires is it's not a true mud terrain. It's a hybrid. I mean, it has big lugs. It's a mud terrain. It has the center tight thread pattern for on-road comfort. You know, you go over to the Goodyear MTR, it has the same thing. Huge lugs on the outside and a tighter pattern on the inside for on-road comfort. So I was mentioning one of the advantages to this. I got 5 38s for $1,250 when I had changed to my 35-inch tire right before these, and it was the BFG KO2. It cost me almost $1,900 for all 5. Significantly cheaper, and I can totally understand the appeal these tires have to people. One thing I have been very careful to never have done on this channel is shield the performance of these tires when wheeling. As you guys have seen plenty of times, me struggling to get up an obstacle. I don't hide it. I don't clip it straight to go into getting up. I let the tires show the performance. Just want to show you some of the chunking. Holy crap, that one's pretty bad. That one's not too bad. Sidewall, chunking.
That one's almost gone. They're used and abused.
I'm not easy on them all. Chunking.
Munkin.
Chunking.
And not chunking.
Chunking. Now I'll be fair. I will aggressively. I will on rocks. Chunking is going to be expected with any tire. If you will, the way that me and my friends do. I'm just showing you. Pinball! Plain and simple, these tires are not a bad buy for the cost. Now, if these tires cost more, nope. I would say I'm not going to use them again, but these are going on to the J10. I'm getting something different for bromance. So my final thoughts of these tires, it's a good, cheap tire, and that's the best way I can put it. Don't buy these tires expecting them to be the world's greatest tire, because they're not. Don't buy these tires believing that they're going to be absolute crap, because they're not. These tires have always done what I've wanted them to do. It's just taking more work to do it. I will give these tires absolute praise for on-road comfort and handling. I've never had an issue. Granted, we don't get a lot of wild weather out here, but I have driven it in the snow plenty of times. Of course, in the rain, and we don't really get mud on the road. I have taken it mudding. I've put these tires through every level of wheeling that we have to offer out here. And like I said, they still work. I'm still getting up. It's just taking a lot more time and effort for me to do so. It actually led to my chest getting waxed when I lost that bet. So these tires are only going to last me another 10,000 miles just based off of the math, which is a relatively short time for a tire. I love the size. I think 38 by 13.5 is the sweet spot for the JL. It's a good, cheap tire, and it's hard to beat for the money. I'm not going to tell anyone not to buy them because they're not a bad tire, depending on the usage, of course. You know, if you're just looking for a big tire for on-road driving, these will fill the void, but of course you're going to be replacing them more often. If you're buying these for purely off-road, which they're not bad off-road, it's just this performance decreases dramatically. The first time I took these out, the second time I took these out off-roading before I hit past 1,000 miles, I mean, they just hooked on everything and they were awesome. It ain't the story anymore. It's I slip, I crab walk, I gotta bump it pretty damn hard to get things up. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you think of the Patagonias if you've been running them down in the comments below. And y'all, keep it easy.